What's up gamers, my name is Shepard and welcome back to another video for Layers of Fear. Now, this isn't going to be a gameplay video, it's just a short video to get some clarification on the ending of the game that we went through, especially the letter. I want to focus on the letter because after reviewing some of my videos, I noticed that throughout my gameplay videos, the letter next to the painting actually had weird phrases, things that didn't make sense, and it ended up where we were reading the letter, which basically was a repeat of what was said at the beginning of the game before we started playing. Just before you go into the mansion and you actually start playing, where the screen is black and someone, or perhaps your own voice, I think it's your own voice, you get told something, and this is the letter. Lost, you deserve it, finish it. Okay, this is the way we found it at the beginning of the game, and now once again here we are. Yeah, that phrase at the beginning of the game is basically repeated at the end where we finished the game. But in my episode just before finishing the game, there were phrases in the letter like a quintessential part of your being, and there was something about hating you or always hated you or something like that. I can't remember now properly what exactly was said in the letter. I can't remember exactly, but there was stuff like that. And then after applying the final ingredient of the portrait, the letter completely changed, and some of the words that we were uncovering throughout the gameplay, it all of a sudden disappeared, and we ended up with that letter, which was just a repeat of the little phrase at the beginning of the game. So I did some research about it, and it turns out there are 3 different endings, 3 different versions of the portrait, and then of course 3 different versions of the letter. So I don't want to spoil too much of it. If some of you have already started playing the game or has played the game and you didn't know about the other endings and now you want to go play it again, I don't want to spoil anything, but it turns out that there are certain things in the game where you have to make choices, even though it looks like the game is just sending you where it wants you to go, which is basically what happens. No matter what happens, you always end up where you're supposed to, but you actually have to make decisions whether you are going to interact with something or not. And yeah, you have to make different choices. For one, I'm really trying my best not to spoil anything here, guys, but I know that for one, to get a different ending, you have to purposefully interact with the ghost of your wife at every chance you get. That's one. That's one of the requirements for another ending. There are also other things that you have to keep in mind. There are certain things that you have to avoid, and then certain things you have to chase, like really go out looking for them. Like, for example, the interaction with the ghost of your wife. So yeah, even though it sucks, it's horrifying to get attacked by the ghost of your wife and waking up in a weird different room every time. I know one of the requirements for one of the other endings is you have to interact with her at every chance you get. So if there's something that looks weird, if you can smell danger everywhere in the air, just, yeah, bite your teeth and close your eyes and run into it, because you have to interact with your wife. Then that will lead to a different type of ending. It's also connected to certain mementos that you pick up. certain notes that you read. But like I said, I don't want to spoil too much of it, but I also cannot for sure 100% tell you what it is that you have to pick up and what not. Perhaps I will do another playthrough, but it's not going to be as in detail as this one. I'll probably play through it again and just do a lot of video editing and put together all the necessary pieces, and then obviously, you know, at the endings I can share the endings with you. That is if I'm gonna play the game again. I'm still deciding if I'm gonna play it again. But bit of good news, I just got my hands on Layers of Fear Inheritance, which is the DLC, or the direct follow-up for this one. So I am definitely going to be playing that, and you can expect videos in the near future. If I understand correctly, then Layers of Fear Inheritance is where you take control of this character, this painter, this artist's daughter. After the death of her mother, your wife, she was apparently in some children's home or something, and she gets out of that and revisits this mansion. And it also turns out that there's also different endings to that. So I tried to read just quickly through the articles and stuff that I saw on Layers of Fear Inheritance. So I also didn't want to spoil it for myself too much, but it seems that there's different endings there as well. There's different ways to view things, different things to interact with, which will determine the course of your gameplay. So yeah, I'll definitely investigate into the other endings of this game, of the normal Layers of Fear. But the letter was the big issue for me. Was the big confusion, and I'm pretty sure, you know, after watching my other videos, I guess there's a lot of you who are also confused by the letter thing. I don't know how in detail you were focusing on the letter, but I'm sure there are others of you out there who noticed that what? All of a sudden there's words and phrases missing out of the letter, and the letter completely changed. So I just wanted to give clarity on that because I figured that out. So 3 different portraits, or let's start at the top. 3 different endings, 3 different portraits, and of course which will be 3 different letters. So it sounds like there are 3 different versions of this letter. So the ending that I went through was basically the most common. You know, interact with something here and there and everywhere, and then boom, you get this never-ending loop, because that is basically what happens. It is a never-ending loop. Apparently the other endings are a bit more, they give a bit more closure. This one just loops forever and ever and ever and ever, and you can do it all over again as much as you want. So yeah, I just wanted to give clarity on that, and of course the good news of Layers of Fear Inheritance. You can expect the videos coming. So we are going to go through another adventure like this together. I'm actually really looking forward to it. I am. You're going to experience the mansion and the story from a different perspective, which is actually pretty cool. I also heard a little whistle in the wind that there is a Layers of Fear 2 coming out sometime in the future, which would be actually interesting. It would be nice to get... It would actually be nice to experience this story from 3 different perspectives. We've done the artist. In Inheritance you do the experience from the daughter's... you experience it from the daughter's point of view, from her perspective, and you relive her memories apparently. And then it would actually be nice to go through the wife's perspective as well. I just don't know what will be haunting you there, because she's the one responsible for the haunting in this game. But yeah, thanks for listening to my explanation, guys. Thank you, I really appreciate it. I just wanted to get some clarity. I believe a lot of you were also left with a massive question mark on your face, and a stupid look on your face, and confusion in your eyes after watching my ending video. So there you go, now you know what's going on. And I really hope to see you guys with the inheritance videos coming up. So, thanks a lot again, guys. Really appreciate your support. See you next time. Cheers.